Today, we're diving into something really fascinating, a very specific and kind of wild interpretation of some of the most ancient texts on Earth.
So let's just jump right in with a big question this whole idea is built on. What if these ancient hymns, these verses that we usually think of as spiritual or religious, what if they aren't about gods at all? What if they're actually about, well, gravity and quantum physics?
Look, our job today isn't to tell you if this is right or wrong. We're just going to walk you through this unique way of looking at things, exactly as the source presents it. We're going to map out the logic, piece by piece, and it all kicks off by completely rethinking one single, really important word. That word is Kilbish. Now, you'd normally hear this translated as sin or some kind of moral wrongdoing, but this interpretation, it throws that out the window. It says Kilbish is actually about a physical problem. It's a false state, a system that's dangerously out of whack. And this is the problem the hymns are supposedly trying to solve, whether you're talking about a giant star or a tiny little atom. All right, so first up, let's take this idea and go big. I mean really big. Let's look at how this applies on a cosmic scale, in the world of stars. Okay, so picture a star. According to this view, it's in this constant cosmic tug-of-war. You've got the immense pressure from nuclear fusion pushing out, and at the same time, you've got the crushing force of its own gravity pulling in. If the outward push wins, boom, a catastrophic explosion. If gravity wins, it collapses in on itself. Either way, that's a stellar scale Kilbish, a fatal physical imbalance. And here's where it gets really interesting. The source material doesn't just leave this as a metaphor, it connects it directly to modern physics. It literally pulls this quote from a textbook, pointing out that scientists have a name for this perfect stellar balance, hydrostatic equilibrium. That's the state a star needs to be in to, not explode or collapse. So you see the connection they're making here, right? The ancient Vedic idea of preventing Kilbish is being mapped directly onto this modern scientific principle of hydrostatic equilibrium. It's like they're saying the hymns were describing this exact physical law just in their own language. But this whole idea doesn't just stay out in the cosmos. Nope. We're about to zoom all the way in from the biggest things in the universe to the absolute smallest. Let's talk about the world of the atom. The argument is that this very same struggle for balance, this Kilbish problem, it's happening right there at the quantum level too. The scale is completely different, but the core issue, it's exactly the same. So here's how they say it works. You start with a nice, stable atom. Everything's balanced. But then, oops, it loses an electron. Now it's a positively charged ion, and boom, it's in a state of Kilbish. It's got too much positive charge, which the source says makes it too attractive and messes up the whole system. See? It's just like the star, but on this impossibly tiny scale. Okay, so if Kilbish is the big problem, both for stars and for atoms, what's the solution? What do these ancient texts supposedly say is the fix? Well, according to this interpretation, the answer lies in three other key Vedic words. Get ready for these: soma, pitu, and ritu. And just like Kilbish, they're not seen as spiritual concepts, but as fundamental parts of physics. Let's start with pitu. Now, this word can mean food, and that's actually a pretty good way to think about it. In this framework, pitu is the basic fuel, the raw energy that any physical system needs to keep going, whether it's a massive star or a single atom. So if pitu is the fuel, how does it get delivered? That's where soma comes in. Soma is the delivery guy. It's the particle that brings the fuel and restores balance. And the source makes a really bold connection here. On the atomic level, they say soma is the electron. It's the electron that comes back to that unstable ion and makes it whole again. And this is where soma becomes this incredible, all-purpose concept in their model. It's not just one thing. It's the electron that fixes an unstable ion. It's the stream of particles that fuels a star. Heck, they even say it's the basic stuff that both electrons and protons are made of. It's like the ultimate fundamental particle. But here's a key detail. Soma never works alone. It always has its brothers with it, the ritu. And the ritu are interpreted as being essential waves or forces that regulate everything. The idea is that the soma particle, the electron, can't do its job of providing energy and stability without its ritu waves. They're a package deal. Okay, let's just pause for a second and put all these pieces together. We have Kilbisha, pitu, soma, and ritu. How do they fit together to create this unified picture of the universe?
This chart really lays it all out, doesn't it? It shows the direct parallels they're drawing. You've got Kilbish on top, that's the imbalance in a star or an unstable ion. Then you have the solution, soma, that's the fuel particles for the star or the electron for the ion. And finally, you have ritu, the cosmic forces for the star or the quantum waves for the atom. It's a one-to-one mapping.
And that brings us to the grand finale of this idea, maybe the most mind-bending connection of all. Once again, the source pulls out a physics textbook to remind us of something really fundamental about quantum mechanics. Electrons don't circle the nucleus like tiny little planets. That old model is wrong. So why is that important? Well, here's the kicker. The source claims that the ancient hymns describe soma and its ritu waves as spreading out and filling a space around the atom. They argue that this isn't just a vague description, it's a perfect poetic match for what we now call an electron cloud, this fuzzy zone of probability where the electron exists. It's not a path, it's a presence.
So, what do we make of all this? When you see ancient language that seems to line up so neatly with modern physics, what are we really looking at? Is it a hidden code, just waiting to be cracked? Is it a massive coincidence? Or, and this is a big one, could it just be a totally different way of seeing and describing the same universe we all live in? We're not here to give you the answer. That's for you to think about. Thanks for joining me on this one.